Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Experiencing the divine bliss. Now let's pray to the Almighty together and seek His blessings. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahana bhavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vedvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, the Supreme Reality, the Omniscient, the Omnipresent, the Omnipotent, together with utmost obeisance, we offer our humble salutations at your lotus feet to seek your grace, your love, your benevolence, your blessings, your mercy, your forgiveness. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities in a much more enhanced proportion. Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, vairagya, prapatti and mumukshutvam. We are seeking these qualities not for any personal gain, but purely and totally to understand thy true self. As a very personal experience, Aparoksha Anubhuthi. Without your grace, this won't be possible. So we again and again beseech in you to grant us this rarest privilege of a lifetime. Our humble salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. With the grace of the Almighty and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 420 on the 9th of April 2025. Swasti Shri Vishwavasur Nama Samvatsara Uttarayana Vasantarutu Chaitra Masa Shukla Paksha Saumya Vasare Dvadasyatitau Magha Nakshatra Gandanama Yoge Balavakarane. On this auspicious day of Wednesday and the auspicious time of the evening, we all once again recommit ourselves to the oath Naham Karta Hari Karta Hari Preranaya Hari Prityartha. There is one and one alone in this entire universe, in this entire existence. I pray again and again to that divine, supreme reality. To unveil that knowledge, to distort the ignorance and make this jiva understand that you are none other than that supreme reality. So this whole endeavor is only focused in becoming one with the reality, and we beseech in the Almighty to remove the veil which is between the Jivatma and the Paramatma. Our humble salutations once again to the Guru Parampara. Om Tat Sat. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome to all of you. So, one point agenda, one goal in life. Nothing else. Imagine, you're going for shopping and you see on your list what is there. Only one item is there. You feel so happy. Who will feel happy? I won't say that. You all understand better who will feel happy, who will feel unhappy. But that only one item on my list. So you have so much to do for other things. Otherwise, let's say there are 20 things and you have to go to different shops, pick up so many things. That's a task. So have this. Rest all are incidental, apparent, secondary, but primary, what is that? See, in fact, the Lord alone says in various scriptures, He says, my very purpose of making a human being is for God realization. There is no other purpose for a human being, because this is the only species which has got the necessary capabilities and abilities to conceive this fact that this creation and the creator are not two different things. See, it's so simple yet so difficult. You may understand, but if it does not come into your experience, then it's of no use. Why do we eat something tasty? You eat an ice cream, you eat a chocolate, you watch a movie, you hear to a good bhajan or a song. Why do we do that? Because we experience the joy. Imagine that you are seeing, eating, hearing, but you are not getting any experience. A very simple example I am giving you. Just imagine. You say fika. You eat an ice cream, no taste. When do you say that there is no taste? When you do not experience. So in the same way, now this scriptural study, unless and until it becomes your experience, otherwise it is fika. So we have to come to that stage. So, and to come to that stage, what is required is again and again, you are putting in your best efforts. You are saying, I am not giving importance to any other thing in life. When I have come to a particular stage, I want to achieve this at any cost. Now that is in your hands. Now if you say, I want this, I want that also, and then maybe that also, I'm pursuing. No. So only one thing which the Shastras and the Almighty also looks at you is how well you are committed. How great is your commitment. So that we have to show over here. So now today, it has been a rough ride since the last two sessions. Anyway, whatever best we could do in terms of managing whatever we can, we have done that. And hopefully let everything go well. Today we are going to discuss primarily a story. Now what this story says is, whenever a soul is eligible to get this Brahma Jnana or the Brahma Vidya, only then it will get. See, now maybe 1 week and 2 weeks back we didn't have that privilege. Through this story, not that we are not getting, we are getting, but this story is where it talks about the Devas, the Asuras, and the great kingly scholars who were practicing Brahma Vidya. So all that, how did they overcome hurdles in life? How did they cross over the challenges of unbearable pain? So that gives us a kind of an inspiration and a direction as well. Okay, so we'll primarily start with this story. Before that, I will just give you a recap of what we have studied. So that will take us to a firm understanding of where we are, and then immediately after this story we will move ahead. Okay. Now, from verse 12 onwards, it is the path of enquiry. Vichara soyamidrishaha. This is the way of enquiry. So from 12 to 16, in these 5 verses, Bhagavan Shankaracharya, he clearly says, this is the way of enquiry. First he asks questions, 4 questions. Who am I? How is the world created? Who is the creator? What is the material cause of all this? This is the way of enquiry. Excuse me, please. And now in the next verse 13, he primarily tells us, I'm not this body, this bundle of elements, nor these senses. I'm something other than these. Now, these are all the pointers. So, this is the way of enquiry. And then in verse 14, he comes and he says, now what do you inquire next? All this which is born out of ignorance, he says, don't worry. At the dawn of this knowledge, the moment you get this knowledge, everything will start disappearing. Just like that dew, that mist, which is that fog is in the air. As the sun comes up in the morning, as you see all that fog run away, in the same way, this ignorance which has clouded your mind, as you allow that knowledge, that sunlight to come in your life, you will start getting to know what is the truth. And this is the way of enquiry. In the 14th verse he said. And then again, soyamidrishaha. This is the way you have to inquire. So then again he says, now how is this world made? Just like the clay is the material cause for all the mud pots. In the same way, this existence meaning that isness what we have. We are created with something. And what is that something? The Pancha Mahabhutas. So with that Pancha Mahabhuta, which is none other than the existence aspect of that consciousness, so we are created in this world. And with ignorance comes desire. And with desire comes a passion to achieve things in life. What I want, what I don't want. So that continuous cycle of life, it chases us. So this is, again you're going to inquire, how is all this happening? And then in verse number 15, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, understand, you are that one, indeed that subtle one who is the knower and that immutable reality, immutable in the sense which is not subject to any change, and you are a witness. And so undoubtedly what you are then? You are that Parabrahman. Only that I which has come in you as a Jiva Bhava is that which has to be negated. And this is the way of enquiry. Soyamidrishaha. So in verse number 16, he comes up to this point, and now he starts the next series, which we call is from verse 17 onwards, Kimajnanamata Param. He says, can there be a greater ignorance than this, what you are doing? So in that way he tells us, see, this is the fact. This is what you are looking at, the reality and the illusion. So can there be greater ignorance than that? So this way he is slowly convincing us now. And this is where the unveiling of that knowledge is happening. So what is this enquiry? Enquiry is trying to understand. It may look like a fancy term, but anything for and everything, whenever you want to buy something, what do? He said, inquire with 2-3 shops, inquire with 2-3 vendors. Don't we say that? So in the same way, he says, inquire about this truth. Where? Scriptures. About that Creator. So, once there was a salt doll. It was standing in front of the ocean, and it looked at the vast ocean, and it says, let me take a dive into the ocean and see what is this, how deep it is, how big it is. Let me see the ocean and understand it thoroughly. So what it did, it dived into the ocean, because unless and until it dives, it cannot see what is inside. Okay, so no sooner it dived inside, and it was going deeper and deeper and deeper to explore the ocean. In the process of exploration of the ocean, it became the ocean. So the power of inquiry is that Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Mundakopanishad says this. So this is one of the most iconic line which directly affirms what you are pointing to. I want to understand that Brahman. You have made this as your sole goal, sole aim, and 1 point agenda and 1 item in your shopping list. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. Then Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. He who knows Brahman indeed becomes Brahman. See, when they say no, Brahmana is the knower of Brahman, not by caste. You are born in a Brahmin family, but if you do not know who is Brahman, you are not eligible to be called as Brahman. What you are doing, that determines your caste. So, in the same way, this is told by Lord Krishna. And of course by Swami Vivekananda and so many other Pandits. He says, the knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Then one more quote you can say, Brahma Jignasu Brahmaiva Bhavati. Now we are all Jignasus. Jignasu in the sense we are eager to know. We have not known yet, but we are making all attempts to know. So Brahma Jignasu Brahmaiva Bhavati. One who inquires into Brahman becomes Brahman. So this way, just for our understanding, what we are doing itself is a sacred path. Brahmani Jignasu api Brahmaswarupa. One more quotation. Even the inquiry into Brahman is the nature of Brahman. So this highlights, the very movement, effort towards truth is truth manifesting itself. Brahma Jnanena Brahmaiva Siddhyati. By the knowledge of Brahman, one indeed becomes established in Brahman. So keep listening to this, keep listening to this, keep reading about this, keep chanting about this, keep contemplating about this. Then what happens? You become that. So, with this earnestness in us, what we have to do is, whatever it is, see, some people, they say, is a bookworm, they say. What is the meaning of a bookworm? Actually, if you see in the true sense, he is always with the book. Nothing other than that. For him, morning you see he is with a book, afternoon with a book, evening with a book. So they call him as bookworm. So it is nothing but a person associated with book. And other than book, there is nothing else in that person's life. So they are known as bookworm. So we have to become a Brahman worm. We have no other business in life other than trying to understand this great, supreme reality, the Creator. Okay. Now, we'll come to this beautiful story. Now, what is to be understood in this story is that direct conversation where each and every soul, depending on different situations, what they have understood in life and what they say. So they were also like, okay, some several hundred years before us. That's all. So how they looked at life and to them what knowledge was given and how many things unfolded, we will look into that. So the first was, the story starts with the importance of a guru in one's life. Lord Indra means Swarga. He had won a battle over the Asuras and he was extremely proud of his victory. He was seated on the throne with Shachi, is his wife, who is sitting next to him. The Gandharvas are playing the divine music and the Apsaras are dancing. The Kinnaras are there, the Maruts, the Rudras, the Adityas, the Ashwini Kumaras. Everybody is only talking about the glory of Indra, how he fought the war and how he won over the Asuras. At that point of time, his guru, the great Maharshi Brihaspati, he comes there, the divine preceptor. He comes to the court. Normally when the guru comes, the king, whoever is the king, he gets up from his throne. So here Indra does not care. Now the guru comes straight and stands in front of him, but he does not bother. He is in his own world. Brihaspati, he could not bear this insult. For a while he stood there And eventually what he did was he said, let me leave. He says, this is the height of impertinence. I'm not going to tolerate this. And as a Kuluguru, he left the place. And he anticipated, now Indra is not going to sit quiet. He will come to know the moment I have left, what calamities can occur to him. He will come to me. So he saw that he is hidden and Indra will not be able to find him. Now the same thing happened. Suddenly Indra realized that this Guru was here and I was lost, and Guru has left us and gone now. Now this news, it immediately spread within the heavens and then to the outer worlds and then to the Asuras world. Now the Asuras were headed by their Guru Shukra. They said, this is the right time to wage a war. Now the war has just ended and they were celebrating. Doesn't matter. Now Guru is not with them, so there is no advisor with them. So let's wage a war. And when this happened, suddenly the news came that the Asuras are planning on these lines. So immediately they went to the Indra and his team. They went to Lord Brahma and they asked, oh Brahmadev, please advise us now. What do we do? And Indra said, yes, I have insulted my Guru. It's a wrong thing which I have done. But then he says, now I can't do anything. If he is not found, then you have to find somebody else. And Brahmadev, he suggests the name of one Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta. Okay, he will help you go. He is fit to be a Guru. But now the Indra says, Brahmadev, what are you saying? He is an Asura. How can I go with him? He says, now you don't have a choice. He is one capable person. You should overlook that aspect that he is an Asura and you ask him to be a Guru. Now the Devas went to Vishwarupa and they fell at his feet. Indra said, we have come to you as beggars. You know, now we are in a very bad shape. Please, you have to help us. Okay, in that way now he accepted. And then they started doing a yajna. Now when that yajna started, like before the yajna, he tells him, look, I am going to give you a mantra. And that mantra will be your armor. And he calls it as the Narayana Kavacha. He says, you have to chant that mantra and that becomes your Narayana Kavacha. So he initiated the king before the yajna. He said the sacred mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya. Now every organ of sense and thought and action is made to be covered with the thoughts on Narayana and then only it becomes an armor against all evil. So with this mantra, now the yajna started. And as the yajna started, now Indraya idam namama, Varunaya idam namama. So in this way, as he was doing, slowly when the offerings were made, he was transferring it to the Asuras. Now in this process, Asuras, and so Indra found out, and see now from what stage he had fallen at his feet and taken him as his Guru. Now when such a heinous act was done against the Devas, he chops his head. Okay, and then now invited trouble now. It's another situation. Again they're without a Guru. And whatever one source that Brahma says, you have no other choice excepting that one person can take your task now, and even that they have lost. So this is when there came in Vritra, Vritra, Vritra. Okay, this is the coming of Vritra. Now the story unfolds. Vritra is a very powerful Asura. Now the war is still not started. Indra is getting his jitters. What did I do? Why did I become so angry? And when me myself has told Brahma that how can I trust a Asura, he says some things you have to ignore, get your job done. So he says, I have no other choice now. Then they rush to the Adi Purusha, Narayana. The Devas fled to them because Brahma, if they go, they are going to get a thrashing again. So Narayana tells them, see, looking into the power of this Vritra, only one thing can destroy him, which other than that nothing else can destroy. This is Narayana is telling her. So he says what you have to do is approach that great rishi called Dadichi. He is the one who was taught Brahma Vidya, one who taught Brahma Vidya to Ashwini Kumaras. And in return Ashwini Kumaras have granted him immortality. So you go to Dadichi and ask for his powerful bones. Basically his spine and things like that. So they go there and they plead and all that drama happens. Then eventually they convince Dadichi to give his body, and then he says, be without any worry. I will abandon this body of mine for your sakes, and because Narayana himself has said that it will be of use to you all. So Dadichi set his mind on that Parabrahman and went into a samadhi. He then renounced his body, which the Devas eventually collected. They took the mighty bones of that Brahmin, Dadichi, and gave them to Vishwakarma, the divine architect of the heavens. And he fashioned out a terrible weapon, the thunderbolt, which is famous in the world, known as Vajra Ayudha. Vajra is diamond, Ayudha is a weapon. Okay. Now the war starts between Indra and Vritra. Now the interesting part starts, you have to focus on this character Vritra. He is the Asura now. Asura to the highest level. So mounted on his favorite elephant Airavata, Indra is set out to fight with Vritra. Led by Indra, the host of all the other Devas, all have travelled to that spot, and Vritra is standing firm with his army. Now where is this? On the banks of the river Narmada, between Indra and Vritra. Now the greatest soldiers on the side of the Asuras are Namuchi, Shambara, Hayagriva, Puloma, Vrishaparva, Heti, Praheti, Mali, Sumali. All these are deadly Asuras. And see, we might not have heard the names of the Asuras, and that's quite obvious, and we should surely not listen to these names. But on the side of the Indra, who are there? The 11 Rudras, the 8 Vasus, the 12 Adityas, the 2 Ashwini Kumaras, which comprise of the 33 crore gods, what we say, 33 Pramukha Devatas, the Pitris, the Agnis, the Maruts, 49 Maruts, then the 10 Vishwadevas, all are on the side of Indra. Huge army. To an extent, like even beyond your eyesight can take you, to that extent it's on both the sides you have the army there. Now the war goes on and on and on. Vritra at one point he throws the mace at Indra, and Indra falls down from the Airavata. And then he laughed at Indra and said, Vritra is laughing at Indra and said, it is unfortunate that I am fighting you, a great sinner. You killed my brother and your preceptor, a Brahmin who bent on doing good to you. And then he ran with his trident and tried to pierce through his heart, but he had the Vajrayudha, so he couldn't do anything. So then he says, this Vajra of yours has been fashioned from the body of a great man. No, you have to carefully understand this. Vritra is telling Indra, this Vajra of yours has been fashioned from the body of a great man at the behest and instructions of Lord Narayana himself. So it owes its power to Dadichi and to the sanctity bestowed on it by Narayana. He says, use the Vajra on me. See, that Asura is telling Indra, use the Vajra on me, Vajrayudha. Wherever the Lord is, there will be victory. Wherever the Lord is, there will be victory. I for one will think on the Lord and rest my thoughts on Him. Can you understand? If I am killed, I will only be giving up the sinful body. I am not grieved. Use your Vajra on me. And Indra is stunned. He says, are you afraid of that the Vajra will fail and you will not be able to attack on me? He says, do not worry. Again, Vritra is telling Indra, this Vajra which has been blessed by the Lord will not fail. You are sure to kill me. So, Indra is stunned and is standing still. Indra was standing like one amazed by the unexpected. These were the sort of words one never expected an enemy to speak. The entire army was listening, as though everybody is now spellbound to the words of Vritra. And Vritra continues, as for me, I have set my mind on the feet of Narayana. The Asura is saying, when I am killed, I will find release from this body, which is nothing but a bondage. I will reach the state which yogis attain because of tapas they perform. This Lord, when He loves His bhakta, does not give him the wealth of the three worlds. Do you know why? Vritra is saying to Indra, he knows that because Indra is very wealthy. He is the Swargadipati. He knows that wealth is the cause of hatred, cause of fear, cause of mental pain, arrogance, quarrels, unhappiness, and extreme fatigue. So Indra, believe me, the Lord grants freedom from all these and more. Then the thrill of His gifts can only be realized and cannot be described. A wealthy man never knows about this. So suddenly Vritra, he lost all thought of the battlefield and his surroundings. His mind went to Narayana and he said, O Lord, please make me the servant of your servants. Make my mind think only of your qualities. Let my voice sing of only your greatness. Let my body perform only such actions which are dear to you. I want you, my Lord, and there is no desire in me for the realms of becoming a Brahma or the state of becoming another Dhruvashtra. No, I do not want to be the emperor of the earth, nor do I desire to rule another world. I do not want moksha also, nor do I want proficiency in any yogas. This is what now Vritra is telling. Because of the veil of Maya, which you have thrown in my path, I am attached to my body, to my wife, my children, my home, my palace, and many other possessions of mine. Please withdraw this veil and help me to break this attachment to the things of the world. See, all around there is huge fight happening on the battlefield, and this is what Vritra is talking about. Now the fight continues. Now he says, I am surrendering. In that situation, since Indra is stunned there, Vritra hit him hard and his elephant on the Indra and the elephant on the chin with his club. The force of the blow was so great that the Vajra slipped from the right hand of Indra when he hit the elephant and him. Ashamed of himself, Indra could not stoop down to the ground and pick it up, because the enemy is there standing tall, and in front of him, how can he is now fallen to the ground where he was on his deadly Airavata. Then Vritra said, Indra, why do you hesitate? This is not the time to think. One should not grieve over what has happened. Take up your Vajrayudha and kill me. I am your enemy. Victory and defeat, Indra, are daily happenings in the life of every man. One cannot win all the time. It is all in the hands of the Lord who controls the world and happenings in the world. Poor ignorant people do not know the truth, and they consider the body to be the end and aim of their life. Indra take note of this truth. This world, why? This entire universe is under the sway of some power. Something other than we all know. Have you not seen animals and forms of women, men cut out of wood to make antics in a puppet show? Do they not move as the master of the puppet? He guides them. Have they any power to act on their own? Same is with us. We are all moved by the strings in the hands of the Lord. It continues. Now, when faced with victory and defeat, fame and infamy, death and life, pain and pleasure, when one is confronted with these opposites, one should neither be too depressed nor too elated. So the three qualities, sattva, rajas and tamas, are parts of nature, and they have nothing to do with the Atman. One who has realized the Atman, who has reached that Brahmi state, will never be affected by the opposites. Just look at me. My weapon is broken by you, and my arm, one of my arm has been cut by you. This fight between you and me is like a game where the stake is the life of either of us, and no one is sure as to who is going to win. It is all just a gamble. Let us leave the result on the laps of the gods and do our duty to the best of our ability. Come Indra, let us fight on. Indra was overcome with admiration for this opponent now of his, who was so wise, who was so noble, such a great philosopher. Now he started admiring him now. I am amazed at the greatness that is being parted by you. Your mind is far above the things of this world. You are a Siddha, Indra tells that his deadly enemy now. You have transcended Maya, which deludes all men. You have nothing of the Asuric temperament in you. Asura as you are expected to be full of Rajoguna. Strangely enough, it is not so at all. You are a pure Sattvic, and your mind is lost in the Lord. I salute your greatness. And then they began to fight again as per the rules of the Dharma. Now Vritra hurled a terrible pestle at Indra, which was broken, of course, by the pieces of the Indra Vajra. Now the other arm of Vritra was cut off by Indra. Earlier he had cut off one arm, now the other arm was cut. Now Vritra then opens his mouth. He stretched it so high that like it formed a cavern between the earth and the sky. With that situation, he swallowed Indra and his elephant also inside. Now suddenly Indra is gone into this stomach of this Vritra Asura. In the entire Deva camp, now king is no more there. Their Lord Indra, where is he? There's horror. But Indra had that Vajrayudha, because he's saying, Arey, you are not fighting at all. What do I do now? So when both his hands are cut and that Indra is not killing him, so he swallowed him, and then Indra, he comes out of the stomach by tearing the Vritra's stomach apart. He comes out. Everyone was looking. Vritra's life came out of his body. Now this is again interesting. It comes out of his body in the form of a glowing light, and it loses itself at the feet of Lord Narayana. Lord Narayana had come there to witness this battle. And it goes and dives into the feet of Lord Narayana. Now, a similar incident in the Mahabharata happened. When Shishupala, in the court of Yudhishthira, was continuously abusing Lord Krishna. And at one point, Lord Krishna, he cuts off his head, Shishupala's head, with his Narayana Chakra, and Shishupala obviously dies. Now Yudhishthira comes running to Lord Krishna and asks him, tell me one thing, Krishna, I couldn't understand. This Shishupala, who has entire life he has been talking ill about you, and in the court itself he spoke so much ill about you, but you were calm, quiet. Since you were calm and quiet, we didn't do anything. We could not take any action on this. But I noticed one thing, that no sooner Shishupala died, his head was chopped off his body and he died. We saw that the light from his body, a soul, a divine light came in and it rested on your feet. And you blessed it. What is this? Now this story is again from the Bhagavata. I'll tell you some other time. Like, what is that Lord looks at us? These are great asuras. Now here is an asura. And there Shishupala is again no less than an asura. But how is it that their souls merge at the feet of the Lord? This is one fantastic secret. We'll have to understand this. Okay. Now where we are? Vritra is killed. Now Indra becomes the emperor of the three worlds now. Now next. At this point, Parikshit Maharaj. Now where this is, all this is a story is being narrated by Sukha Brahma, right? So he intervenes and he said, "Oh Sukha Brahma, my lord, you have been telling about the Asuric birth of this Vritra, about the cruelties done by him on the Devas and during the fight, and yet, my lord, he spoke words only as a great bhakta. How is it possible for this dreadful Asura to have been a bhakta of the Lord? Please enlighten me about this, which is puzzling me so much. Even the Devas who are said to be endowed with sattvic qualities, even Rishis who are pure-minded, do not seem to have so much devotion to the Lord as Vritra seems to have had." Now then again, some knowledge starts coming. So in this world, there are more living beings than grains of sand on the seashore. Among them, this is important for us again, among them, only a very few walk on the path of Dharma. Again, among this small minority, very few think of moksha as the ultimate aim of life. Among 1,000 people who desire moksha, only one is able to really shed the bondage known as worldly attachment. Among 1 crore of such sublimated souls, one will be able to reach the feet of the Lord. When such is the case, how is it that Vritra, who was an asura, who was bent on harassing the Devas, who was a sinner, a dreadful sinner, how is it that he had so much bhakti for the Lord? How is it that his life was lost in the feet of the Lord? Please tell me. Sukha Brahma, please tell me. Now, Sukha Brahma was pleased with the pertinent question. So, when for any teacher, when the student asks a pertinent question, it actually pleases the teacher. You all must have experienced, because somewhere you all have been teaching something or the other to somebody. It could be even your children also. When you are teaching them so many things in life, and when they come out with the right questions, you feel happy. So he said, your question is very apt. Now listen to this story. And now the story of this Vritra started now. So it goes on to, there was a country known as Surasena, and the king was Chitraketu. A very prosperous country, a very good king obviously, and one sad thing was the king had no children. So once a sage Angirasa, he comes to his country, and he was very pleased with the obedience, humility of the king, and then he asks him, "O king, I see that there is something in you which you are not happy about. So I can read that unhappiness on your face. Tell me what it is." Then he says, "Maharaj, O Muni, what to tell you? I am blessed with a very prosperous kingdom, with beautiful and good wives, with all the best of the things in the world, but I have not had the good fortune to be the father of a son. So when he listens to this, Angiras, who is the son of Brahma, he took pity on him and he said, "Don't worry, O my king." He prepares a concoction over which Lord Twashta presided, and he gives it to the king. And he says, "Give it to your eldest wife." You have several wives, which he had said. "Give it to your eldest wife." Now the king Chitraketu sent for his eldest wife, and after whatever Shuddhikaran has to be done, now the king says, "You please drink this concoction." And she did her salutations to the Rishi and she drank the concoction. Now, as per the strength and power of that concoction, she got pregnant and eventually she delivered a son, a very illustrious, loving, and an amazing child. Now for the king, his joy knew no bounds. And even to the queen and to the entire subjects of the kingdom, the king was so much lost with the son that he almost spent most of his valuable time with his son as a small child. Now the mother of the child naturally became the favorite of the queen, the favorite of the king, because she is the one who is the reason for all this joy. And when this happened, the other queens started getting completely neglected. Neglected to such an extent that this Maharaj never even visited them, never even tried to speak to them. So now this jealousy amongst all the other queens, they all ganged up together. And what they did was, in desperation and with that hatredness, jealousy, they took a very drastic step. They poisoned the child. Okay. Now the child is poisoned. Mother in the morning, she sees that the child is sleeping. She says, okay, maybe he's tired, the child is sleeping. So she does all other chores. And there's a kind of a time limit. She observes that, and then she tells her maid, "Why don't you see, Baba is still sleeping? Go and check on him." And the maid comes and checks. He sees that the child is dead. She screams, and the queen comes running, and looking at the child, she faints. Now immediately the king got the word. He was not far away, he was nearby. He comes running, and then they wake up the queen, and then both are crying like crazy. Now the whole palace was sunk in sorrow, and not only that, the entire country was sunk in sorrow. Now there comes Angiras, who had granted them the child, and with Angiras now comes Narada. Okay, his brother. Both are sons of Brahma. Now they approach the kings, and now this is the words of wisdom which they talk to the king. See, imagine a situation, something which you are fond of extremely in your life, and there is a situation where you have to lose it. What happens to a soul like this? So now if we want this jnana to become that vijnana for us, meaning that experience, jnana is knowledge in the head. When it comes to your heart and your personal experience, it becomes vijnana. So to become vijnana, we have to give up that moha, attachment, and show God that you are completely ready. My single goal in life, one point agenda, even one attachment will bring you back into the womb of a mother. A mother means not a human mother. You don't know whether it could be the womb of a lizard, a cockroach, a rat, a snake, a human, a bird, a fish, or even a devata also. But you're again going to get back into the womb. So be careful. You now also understood what is the kind of a priority list, or that distilling or sieving, or you can say filtering is happening amongst all those who are yearning for moksha. So what you have to Not one single thing you should have an attachment to. So in this state, now, Narada and Angiras, they are talking to the king now. O king, you are now mourning at the death of your son. But if you look at it in a sensible manner, you will realize that you are doing a foolish thing by mourning. See? What is he to you that you should weep for him? What a question. How are you related to him? Another bombarding question. You think that you are the father and that he is your son. You think that you are the father and he is the son. But think for a moment, in your previous birth and in his previous birth and again in your next birth and in his next birth, will you both have the same relationship as you are having now? They're all bonkers. These are bombarding actually. Did you have the same relationship during your earlier births? This son of yours who seems to be yours now is not going to be your son in your next birth. He may be your friend, or he may be your enemy, or perhaps an entire stranger to you altogether. So this relationship of father and son is so indeterminate. Then he gives a metaphor. He says, when the river is flowing fast, grains of sand which flow along with it travel together with the river for a while. And at some point of time, they part, never to meet again. Even so, in this stream called time, you and your son have traveled together for a while, and now the parting of the ways has come. Like a plant is born of another because of the seeds, even so children are born in this world on the same lines. No one has a claim on his child. There is nothing here to be sorry for. Deluded by Maya, you think you are the father of this child and you are weeping. Shed that delusion. Who is saying this? Angiras, Maharshi Angiras and Maharshi Narada, sons of Brahma. You and I and all living and non-living things on the face of this earth are here for a while in this birth. After death, there will never be a meeting of all of us. So this is just a temporary abode for all of us who stay together. Why then should you feel sad? The Lord creates, He preserves, and He destroys. This is the law of nature. And then He comes out saying, out of the body of the Dehi called father, out of the body of the Dehi called mother, is born the body of the Dehi called the son. This is a natural, just like as a birth of a seed from a tree again. So the bodies get destroyed following the law of nature. The law that what is born must die. However, the Dehi, the Atman, never gets destroyed. And so there is no need to mourn the death of something which has no death. He's talking about the Atman. Now here is dying, is dreading and literally howling for the death of this body. He is not at all looking at the Atman now. Now this demarcation between the body and the Atman exists because of the ignorance of the true nature of the Atman, which we all were having this ignorance prior to the commencement of the study of our spiritual practices. Once you shed this ignorance, this avidya, your sorrow will disappear. Come, rouse yourself and get over the false sense of loss and pain. There is no need for pain here. Now King Chitraketu is, he is in his agony. He heard these words and he wipes his face with his hands and said, His eyes are so much filled with tears. Who may you be that speaks such comforting words to me? He is asking. It is known that these enriched souls like you travel the world over to teach the truth to such deluded mortals like myself, who is behaving as I am now, like mad because of the grief which in turn is born only due to this attachment. You are the lords of my soul, which is flourishing in the sea of ignorance. Please kindle inside my dark heart and light wisdom and grant me happiness. Now Angirasa is saying, O king, I am Angirasa who once granted you the son whom you desired. This Narada who is next to me is my brother. He is introducing himself. Burning as you are with grief at losing your son, you are not able to recognize me. I understand that. And I forgive you also. We have come to save you. You are devoted to the Lord, and it is not right that you should be unhappy. See these words. When I came to you last time, I would have taught you this Brahma Vidya. I know you are a great bhakta, but I saw that you were not ripe enough for it then. What is the meaning there? You are not ripe enough. You were still caught up in the maya of the world. You had a desire for an earthly object, that is a son. And so I granted you a son. Now you are going through the tortures of a man who has lost his greatest attachment and asset in life. O king, O woman, he tells the queen. He says, O king and queen, this home, this wealth, this glory, the objects of the senses, all this royalty, servants, friends, relations, all these are but so many causes of pain, causes of unhappiness, causes of delusion, fear and sorrow. Consider for a moment. Have you never stood on the terrace of your palace and watched the clouds chasing each other? At times, have you not observed that they look like a large city with palaces, wide roads, castles? Has not your imagination ever come up with a city out of nothing? This cloud city is called by the wise Gandharva Nagari, a city built entirely out of the power of one's imagination. Because everybody who looks at the cloud, each one creates their own Gandharva Nagari. So in the same way, have you never dreamt? And during the duration of your dream, have you not felt that you were a part of it? Once the dream is over, once you wake up, then you know that it was all unreal and this waking state itself is real. This is all our experience. Once the clouds are scattered by the fast passing breeze, you see the Gandharva Nagari melting away and you realize that it was all unreal and that there was really no such thing called a city in the sky. Have you not felt all these things? Even so are the things of the world. This kingdom, this wealth, these beautiful wives, and this son whose death you are mourning, all these are things just like objects which you saw in the dream. They do not exist because we also have experienced so many near and dear. Suddenly they are not there. Have you not experienced? If not, immediately you would have experienced amongst your known friends or relatives. How can this happen? This person was there yesterday and today I see he is not there. Like when you get up from a dream, you realize that it was an unreal world you were living in while you were in the dream. Even so, when you wake up into the real Brahmi state, I mark a red flag here. When you wake up into the real Brahmi state, this world will appear to you like a dream from which you have woken up. Only when we reach the Brahmi state. Wake up from this dream, O king. Realize that nothing in this world is real or lasting and you will be able to shed this unhappiness just like that. Narada said, I will teach you a mantra from the Upanishads. After repeating it for a week, you will see the Lord Adishesha. You will then shed this sense of duality and reach the state which all emancipated souls have reached in their lifetime. With this yogic power now, Narada made them, he calls the dead prince. He has those powers. He spoke to him and said, I greet you, you are the soul of the dead prince. Look at these kingsmen of yours. Your father, your mother and others are grieving because you have left them. Please return to the body which you have abandoned. Narada is talking to the soul of that dead body. Accept the wealth and the kingdom which your father is eager to give you. Be seated on the throne and make them all happy. Now the soul speaks. Again a red flag. The divine soul, because of its getting involved in karma, is born in this world as a child of a man, a bird or a beast. When considered in that respect, everyone who has been born in this world has at some time or other been the son or father or mother or someone else, or relation of a friend or an enemy. Like gold and other commodities which are bought and sold, which change hands constantly, even so this soul passes from body to body, from one father to another. This relationship is transient and unreal. As long as there is this relationship, so long does the world, that word mine exists. Only when there is a relationship, me, mine exists. But the Atman, though enclosed in a human body, does not have this delusion. It is only when there is involvement that pain arises. It's like a bar of gold. Consider a bar of gold. It is placed inside a box which belongs to a miser, let's say. Now, yesterday it was in the strong box of the goldsmith. Years later it will be placed in the treasury of a king, let's say. Each of them will say that the gold is in his box, so long as it was in the goldsmith's box, or in that of the miser, or in that of the king. But they do not realize that the gold does not belong to the box, nor the owner of the box. So in the same way, this Atman has got no attachments, and so therefore no pain, nor does it experience any pleasure. It does not grieve when parted from the body, which was till then holding it. Thus spoke the soul to this dead child and disappeared from the sight. Everybody was stunned, amazed at this scene which came up before them, and by the words of the dead prince, the people immediately were able to overcome their sorrow. They said, yes, you have woken us up, and were able to comfort themselves. Then the chain of bondage was snapped and they did not have any pain. So they performed the funeral. Till then they were not even ready to perform the funeral. And the stepmothers, they repented. They took up vratas to get rid of their deadly sin. And the king, with his mind completely now in a state of higher plane of consciousness, he understands what the words of Angiras and Narada meant, and he left the country and he wandered away in the forest. Now comes this Chitraketu. He reaches the bank of Yamuna and he has his bath. He sits down in meditation. He thinks of both these Maharishis, Angiras and Narada. He mentally invokes them and offers his salutations. And as soon as he did that, both of them appeared in front of him. And they said, we are now going to give you a mantra. You chant that mantra. So for 7 days, day and night, without food, only on water, he was doing his sadhana. Now, obviously, Lord was pleased with the prayers of the king, And so Adishesha says, I am very pleased with you, with your devotion. Narada and Angiras have asked you to come to me for knowledge. I know that. I will teach you the Brahma Vidya, which will clear your mind and make you get rid of the veil of this Maya forever. Now the Brahma Vidya starts. Again a red flag. Who is teaching? Adishesha to Chitraketu. He says, this entire universe is pervaded by me. I am the seer, the seen, and the process of seeing. Meaning this entire Triputi, what we call, I am this. Since I am both the seer and the seen, that is the drashta and the drishya, there is no difference between the two. I invest myself in the object and I enter the frame of the seer, and there is no difference between the two. There is on one hand the world of objects, and on the other there is the one who enjoys the world of objects. So we are enjoying the world of objects. Since both are in reality the same, since both are myself in two different forms, there is no difference between two. I pervade both. Now he says, I will elaborate on this theme with a simile, metaphor of a dreamer and a dream. Now again, see, this is because this is to our practical experience. That's why everywhere they use these metaphors. When one is sleeping, a man sees a world of trees, mountains, rivers, sky, birds, objects. It stands to reason that this entire world is created by him alone, by his mind, and it has no existence apart from him. And again in the dream itself, man dreams of being awake or of being in some other spot other than where he was. He went off to sleep. So let's say one who is sleeping in a house in Kosala. Kosala is a region. He can very well dream of something happening to him in Gandhara. So these are all common experiences of a dreamer. If you shift the viewpoint and consider Atman as the dreamer, then this world becomes something else than what it appears to an ordinary man. To one who has realized the Brahman, this world assumes the resemblance of a dream. The entire world is created by the dreamer, which is the Atman, as against the other world of dreams created by the sleeping mind of a person. And when he wakes up from his dream, meaning when he realizes that he is awakened, he has enlightened, the Atman will then know that the entire world of objects is but an illusion caused by Maya. A man passes through 3 stages. He is awake, he is dreaming, and he is in deep sleep. These 3 stages occur one after another regularly to everyone in their lifetime. When he is awake, the dream world does not exist for him. When he is dreaming, the waking world does not exist. In the deep sleep, both do not exist. Both these conditions are absent. But throughout these 3 stages or states, there is something which says, I am awake, I am asleep, meaning I am dreaming, and I am in deep sleep. It is that which is the Atman, and that is you and I. I am there in everyone, and once you realize this truth thereafter, there is no cause for pain or pleasure or any sorts of dvandvas, opposites, or the pairs of plurality. To you all things will look alike, the trees, the blade of glass, the mountain, the grain of sand, but there is only one Atman which is in you and in everybody. So now this state which makes you see everything as pervaded by me is the Brahmi state. This needs repetition. The state which makes you see as pervaded by me is the Brahmi state. This is what, who is saying this? The Chaitanya Shakti, the consciousness. So this way, when this truth is forgotten, which normally happens to a jiva, then the soul gets involved in the world of objects. And forgetting its real nature, it becomes a victim to the play of the opposites. It will have no peace guaranteed. Something or the other will be bothering such a jiva. The wise should therefore strive for the attainment of this equanimity, this capability to look on everything as similar. Everything should look alike to one who is proficient in this Brahma Vidya. So the wise man should first learn the art of detachment. That is the first step to the path of freedom. Bear this in mind. To the state which is called the Brahmi state. That is this. Unless and until you are attached to something, you will never reach that Brahmi state. Now there is a rocket. As you see, before it takes off, all the clutches which are there to its base, they are opened. And then the rocket takes off. Imagine if the clutches were to the rocket, how will it take off? So all these heavy chains of attachment what we are having. See, you are not the doer, you are a puppet. Everything that consciousness does, if everything was happening as what we thought, then life would be different. Why are we seeing different states of mind, different states of experiences, different situations in life? It's because somebody else is ruling over you. Accept that. Don't get attached to anything. Whatever you need to do to everybody who is in your life, do your best. But you are not going to exercise your control over that person. That is the only difference between attachment. I want it this way from you. When you say I want this from you, that becomes attachment. Otherwise, it is pure love. So in the world of men, people strive to attain happiness, and then they also strive to avoid unhappiness. All the actions they perform have only this end in their mind: happiness and escape from unhappiness. But strangely enough, the result is not what they expect. Neither do they achieve any happiness, nor is there any freedom for them from pain and unhappiness. A man who strives for something must really strive to realize that one thing, that which is common to the three states. O king, realize this truth. Realize this is the Atma. Man should concentrate his thoughts on me. Meditate on me. Ponder on this teaching of mine, and you will soon reach me, and you become one with me. Now Adishesha, he disappeared from his sight after saying all this, and the king was filled with peace, which is beyond all understanding. As they say, peace that passeth all understanding. He was happy, and he knew that he could never be unhappy again. Immediately that confidence comes in him. Chitraketu traveled in the skies. He did not go back to his kingdom. He's already left his kingdom and come. Severed all his attachments. Now he travels in the skies mounted on a chariot which could fly, which was given by Lord Narayana. Thousands of years passed happily for him without any attachments and no pain. So he spent his time singing the praises of the Lord, and so the time passed. Now here, just to take a recap, Parikshit Raja is asking Sukha Brahma, how is that Vritra, an asura who is such a great devotee of Lord Narayana? That is the question. So now we are leading to get the answer for that question. Okay. Now the last phase of this story. Now this king, Chitraketu, he was on his flight. passing the mountains, the oceans, the rivers. One day he comes, he crosses over Mount Kailasha and he sees that glowing form of Mahadeva over there from his flight. So Mount Kailasa, then the glowing light emitted from Lord Shiva's body. The Pramata Ganas surrounded around Lord Shiva. The Rishis seated in front of him. And there he saw Goddess Parvati seated on the lap of, Goddess Sati. She is seated on the lap of Mahadeva. And he is having a clear panoramic view of the site. He sees that with one hand he is embracing her. Now looking at this rare sight, Chitraketu, he suddenly outburst into laughter, which was heard by all of them. And he says it is a great surprise to see Lord Mahadeva like this. He is said to be the Lord of the world, an acclaimed teacher, Adi Yogi. He is presiding over the assembly of the greatest sages. And what do I see? I see him making love to his wife in public. Although he is dressed like an ascetic, in matted locks, well versed as he is in his state, this God is behaving like an ordinary, ignorant man by making love to his woman in the presence of all. This is all going on in his mind. Why even an ignorant man whom I mentioned is not so shameless? He takes a woman only in secret. How then can one explain this scene? No, Shiva heard this, but he said nothing. He was smiling. And the others in the assembly, the rishis, now it is Adi Yogi, the Lord of the Lords, who is smiling even though so and so things have been uttered. Everybody is smiling. No one spoke a word. But Sati could not tolerate this impertinence. She thought that he was proud of his own, control over his senses, his tapas, and a rare privilege given by Lord Narayana to roam around the skies, always singing in his glory. And he says now there is a need for a lesson to be taught to this impertinent soul. So she, with her eyes glowing, she spoke in anger. She said, "This man is now so great that he thinks he is fit enough to teach the rules of conduct and decorum to the so-called shameless people like us. And especially when the children of Brahma are sitting in front of me. Rishi Bhrigu was sitting there, Narada was sitting there, and they do not know anything about the rules of conduct or what? Why is he behaving like this? Is Lord Mahadeva worthy of respect?" And he says it's now time to be punished. He is unfit to be anywhere near the feet of Narayana. And so, now she pronounces a curse. "Chitraketu, I curse you to be born in the dead clan of Asuras as a punishment for your arrogance." Now, see, now you are able to establish the link. So this is that. She says this. Now Chitraketu, he comes down from his chariot, which was in the sky. He prostrates before the Devi in all humility. He says, "Mother, you are the mother of the world. I receive your curse with folded palms." See, now a bhakta is confronting a situation. Maya rules over us. Sometimes we all say something, do something. How? It's not our own mind. A thought comes in us and we do that. There is a spell of Maya and our Vasana Shaktis. So he says with folded palms he comes there. What has been ordained by the gods for a man like me in reality he says, it has been decided by my own actions which I have done long ago. So he says the human animal caught up in this delusion Maya moves around and around in circles without knowing how to get out of this samsara, and he undergoes pain and pleasure with him in continuous turns. Now the Atman has nothing to do with this situation of the opposites. Nor is anyone capable of causing this cycle. In this world, I know for sure, is but an illusory stream flowing endlessly. Where is the place for either a curse or a blessing? After receiving a curse, this is what he says. Is there a heaven? And is there a place as hell? Happiness, sorrow. It is that Paramatma who creates living beings with his Maya, and it is he who gives them bondage or release from bondage. And all the while he is never involved. He loves no one, nor does he hate anyone. He has no kinsmen nor friends. Everything looks alike to him, and in him the opposite feelings are always absent. How can then anger find a place in him? Mother, I am not angry with you for cursing me. Nor I am going to ask you to withdraw your curse or modify your curse, which we normally see, If my words have offended you, please forgive me, please forgive me, please forgive me. After saluting the divine heavenly pair, Chitraketu ascended the chariot and went away with a smile on his face. Now Mahadeva was watching this, also with a smile on his face. He then turned to Sati and he said, now do you see the greatness of the Bhakta of Narayana? See what happened to him. But still, what a glory he had in his face. Nothing can affect the Bhaktas of Narayana. Heaven, hell, curse, blessing, with all these mean the same to a Bhakta of the Lord. His nature is so placid that he will find peace wherever he is. Everything looks the same to him. He is well versed in Brahma Vidya, and the opposites mean nothing to him. Look at the peace on his face of this man who has been condemned by you to terrible birth. Now Sati's anger mellowed down, and she looked at Chitraketu and his calmness. Chitraketu, who did not curse her in return, even though he had the power to do so. Now this is very important to understand. He accepted the curse with an unruffled frame of mind, and it is this Chitraketu who was born as Vritra because of the curse of Sati. See how the story goes. Many a times the so-called wise can also do wrong, can also confront untoward situations in life. But what we just need to do is accept everything without getting haggled, without getting disturbed with the pairs of opposite. In everything, look at the grace of the Lord and move on. You are not doing anything. Everything, in any which case, even if you don't want to move on, it will move on. Why do you have a long and sad face and move on? Just keep going. So nothing in this world is really going to affect us. It is when we entertain the thought in our mind, it starts affecting us. So far we don't allow anything to enter our mind and affect us. Nobody can do anything to us. So we have to cultivate this power. Through this Narayana mantra. Understand. Become that truest devotee of the Lord of Lords. And how do you do that? Never complain. Never question. Never retaliate. Accept whatever is coming and keep whatever stays, and in return let anything that go, let it go. You are nobody here. Your constant thought process should be, I am rested in the Lord. Rest in peace, we have heard, RIP. Our aim should be rest in Lord, RIL. Just rest in Lord. While you are sleeping, while you are awake, and while you have passed away also. Rest in Lord. That should be our goal. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Time is up. So we'll chant the mantra and end our session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Naham karta hari preranaaya hari prityartham Shri Krishna arpanamastu idam namama. Om Tat Sat. Together we offer today's Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. We seek His grace, mercy, blessings. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om everybody. See you all next week.